So I'm going to share a commercial right here, and then I'm going to talk about said commercial. Hi, I'm Hope Cross, a licensed professional counselor who works online with individuals navigating grief, caregiving fatigue, compassion burnout, trauma, and anxiety. And I absolutely love what I do. As someone who's walked through these tender and overwhelming places myself, I know how exhausting it can be to keep showing up for life when you feel like you're unraveling. But I also know healing is possible, and you don't have to do it alone. Through one-on-one sessions and transformational workshops, I help people reclaim their energy, regulate their nervous systems, and reconnect with parts of themselves that they've had to put on hold. If you're craving real support that is grounded, heart-centered, and trauma-informed, let's talk. You deserve care too. I remember whenever I found out the length it was going to take for me to get my license, which, as most of you who follow my channel pretty closely know, that I got my license several months ago. So I'm like fully officially a licensed professional counselor. And for a while I was just an associate and had a director and a supervisor and all of the things. And now I get to just like for real be on my own, and it's very exciting. The time and the process and the hours seem so daunting to me. But honestly, I loved my supervisor and my director and everybody that I ended up working with, and it was such a blessed experience. I learned so much from them that I wouldn't change any of it. And it makes me think about when we're in this moment of, I don't want to do any of that. It sounds terrible. And we sort of avoid something that sounds terrible. We sometimes shut down, disassociate maybe. What will it take for you to push through? Because we don't always have a clear vision of what it's going to look like on the other side. We may not know what is on the other side of the thing that is daunting, but whatever it is going to be something that you're prepared for by whatever daunting thing it is that you have to get through. And that daunting experience is going to be the most beautiful opportunity for growth and for just witnessing yourself being capable. And usually our minds love to make things seem like they're going to be harder than they are. And so a lot of times it takes having a conversation with our minds. To have the right mindset about things can make the difference. And so when I decided to go back, I had to fix my mindset, because my mindset was like, this is going to be horrible. And if that's the mindset I stayed in, then it was going to be horrible, because our perspectives really do have a large influence over our realities. And if I say an experience is going to be bad, you bet your bottom dollar it's going to be bad. So I had to work on saying, you know what, let's be curious. Instead of being in dread, let's be curious. What am I going to learn from this experience? I also sort of felt a little squirmy around having a license, because I was like, oh, does that put me in a box? There's so many rules. And I had to just really get my head straight. And honestly, that is the first step before going towards anything in life, is to get your mind right. Your mind's there, the rest follows. If you have your mind right, taking the actions you need will become clear, and you will actually have the focus, the drive, the want, the know, all of it, because your mind's right. I've been trying to help my clients navigate, how do you get your head right? I walk through anxiety with people a lot. I walk through clearing things, a lot of somatic movements with people. And one of the most important things that I also do is, how do we get our minds right? How do we get our thinking right? How do we change our perspectives just slightly? How do we open our minds and our hearts just a little bit to allow space for possibility, allow space for hopefulness, for growth, for opportunity, for curiosity? And so one of the biggest things that I do with my mind, and what I've talked to my clients about, is I will have a dialogue in my journal with myself. Okay, so let's say I'm just having like a little stinking thinking about something. I'll write it out. And then I'll be like, okay, what are the other possibilities here? other than this is going to be a horrible process. Oh, you might really love your supervisor. You might learn things you didn't learn before. Oh, things might be completely different in the 10 years you were out. Oh, you might really be thankful because you're working with a clientele that has way more drama than you were before. Ooh, Lordy. That job prepared me for all of the things in life, and I'm so thankful for it. And once you write out what are the other possibilities, then it's like, how do I then create the space for the possibility? And usually it's me having to be very, very mindful and very self-aware of what my thoughts are. Instead of looking for confirmation bias that everything's going to be big and bad and ugly, I look for confirmation that everything might actually be okay and everything might actually be possible. And, you know, it's genuinely, how are you looking at the situation? What is your perspective? And everybody knows that we all have unique perspectives based off of our traumas, based off of the way in which we've healed and the work we do and the books we read and the things we love and how often you're out in nature. But I don't know that people actually think about the way in which perspective influences so much of their reality until you really bring your awareness to it. And oftentimes I ask my clients, what eyeballs are you looking through? Are you looking through doubt? Are you looking through anger? Are you looking through anxiety? Are you looking through possibility, curiosity, forgiveness, grace, love? What eyeballs are you looking through? And awareness is literally the way to bring everything back. And awareness is the key to being able to change your thoughts. And this is beyond just a simple like, ooh, I'm going to say a mantra in the morning. You got to believe it. You can say mantras all day long, but if you don't believe it, you're not going to end up taking the actions that you need to take in order to prove those mantras to be true. Like, you got to be embodied in whatever it is you're trying to do. I always think about people when they talk about intentions. And I'm like, intentions are beautiful. Before I start most of my yoga practices, I'm really try to tap into intentionality. I do a lot of full moon, new moon intentions. And, you know, sometimes I'll just set an intention for the day, even if I'm not doing any other kind of practice. And intention isn't just, ooh, I want this thing to happen. It's, what habits do you need to create for this thing to happen? It's, who do you need to show up as in order for this thing to happen? What thoughts do you need to make sure you're carrying? And how are you feeling? Are you just holding all this stored energy? Like, get rid of that. If you're like, girl, what are you doing? Just random somatics in the park. It's my favorite thing to do. Which is why I'm teaching multiple classes about it. So, you know, if you're not following my website or me on Instagram, you probably should start, because I am going to just keep ramping up the offerings. And I'm very thankful. Thursday is my first like sold out event with my friends, and we're going to walk people through quite a healing journey, and I can't wait. The most beautiful, unexpected part of coming back to being a therapist has been how confident I've become in my abilities to hold space for people, as well as just how absolutely in awe of people's resiliency is. To watch people just experience some of the wildest things in life, because life be lifing for a lot of people, and then to watch them keep going and then actually want to heal and do the work and show up and still hold like a softness and a sweetness and work on their minds and release the trauma, and to witness the things that have helped me now help other people full circle really makes me so thankful. For one of the sweetest parts of getting to work with people in person and online is that you get to witness growth. And it's probably no wonder that I love that, since I love nature and I love checking in on trees that I've seen years along, to be like, oh my gosh, you've grown so much, and watching plants just like start as little babies and just come fully and bloom. And it's just really sweet to see that in people. I'm very thankful because my clients have also helped me to stay very consistent in my practices and very self-aware because, you know, I hear a lot of trauma and the stories really just stick, literally stick to you, and it's heartbreaking and stressful because you just want to help them get out of bad situations. And yeah, there's just so much involved. And so I have to be so congruent within my practices and within the things that I'm teaching. Like every time I'm telling my clients, like, hey, did you clear all the stored trauma, yucky stuff? Like, did you do anything this week to try to get rid of the anxiety? Did you try to transmute? Did you do your practices? It's because I know how much I have to do it every single day just to stay in the energy of being able to hold space for people. I know how much the work works for me and how much I actually have to show up for it. So therefore, I remind all my clients that most of the work that gets done with me gets done outside of time with me, you know, and even in the workshops, it'll be so much more hands-on and it's a longer time period. But in order to see the changes in your life, you have to consistently put the practices into practice. Put the practice into practice. And that's all on y'all. And, you know, there's a self-accountability that comes along with therapy, and it's been a really cool thing to witness it be showing up in me. Like, I have to hold myself so accountable and just be so honest and real with myself and really show up for myself in order to continue to show up for other people. And imagine had I said, oh, I was too traumatized by life already, and I really don't want to go through the whole process of getting licensed. I don't really think I'm going to go do this again. I would have missed out on just so much growth, but I would have also missed out on the opportunity to help so many people find peace again, find joy again, find hope again, and, you know, build capacity for the wild, build capacity for the anxious, build capacity for grief, but also as you're building capacity for all the hard, you're also building capacity for joy and for delight and for awe and for noticing and for zest and vibrancy and all the good things. I think that's something that, you know, I kind of have to remind a lot of people that healing also means you have to create containers for joy, and you have to remind yourself to get back there and that it's okay. And there's a butterfly right there. Our minds. If your minds run the show, how much effort do you think you should put into managing, moderating, curating, decorating your mind? All of the things. How much energy do you think you should put into watching your thoughts, fixing your thoughts, listening to the way you talk about yourself? Who am I calling out right there? Ooh, probably a lot of people. There should be some reflection every day. Every day, you need to check in. How did I talk to myself today? And I think we get so easily disassociated, so easily caught up in the chaos of the world, the day-to-day, all of our daily tasks, that we forget to just bring a little stillness. Check in with yourself. Like, where do you stand? Where was your mind today? Was it actually in your body? Was it present? Were you present today? How was it? How were you to yourself, to everyone around you? I promise that if you get more self-aware, more mindful, more attuned, more embodied, more very, very present within yourself, you're going to have better relationships because you're going to show up in that presence with them. You're not going to get it perfect. We're human. And this is all about knowing yourself. The more you know yourself, not in a way of like, ugh, you're so gross, I can't believe you do that, like you're so obnoxious, but in a way of just being like, hey, are you aware that you have the tendency to do this? Without judgment, could you be aware to stop yourself from doing it? Not to judge yourself. And really knowing yourself in a way of trying to understand yourself and trying to continue to have this mind be your biggest, just like most magical tool in the world is probably the nicest thing you can ever do for yourself. It's the nicest thing you can ever do for your loved ones. It's the nicest thing we can ever do for the whole wide world. Like, the more of us that are just showing up in a more embodied, positive presence, the better the world will be. And at the moment, there's a lot of chaos coming at us, and we have to be very, 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 very careful not to let it all stick to us. So we got to be doing our clearing practices. We have got to transmute. We have got to figure out what our things are that we're going to actually have of impact, and those are the things we're super aware of. Our nervous systems were not meant to know for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the tragedies of the world. You have to make sure you're having discernment and boundaries in terms of what information you're intaking, because you can't do everything for everybody. I don't know who needs to hear that, but somebody did. Somebody needed to hear that. You can't. You're not effective if you're trying to be on all of the causes. Really being mindful about what you're ingesting, what you're holding and attaching to, what you're clearing, where your thoughts are, what are you feeling, what's sticky. Do you feel something stuck in your body? Like, if you have a stomach ache every day, I'm sorry to tell you, you shouldn't, and this needs to be addressed. You know, like, if your back hurts every day, check in with some practices. Do a little more. So, friendly reminder, the work works, but you have to do it. You have to do it in order for it to work. Consistently do it. And, okay, so if you're feeling disassociated, if you're feeling like you don't know how to become mindful, if you're like, oh, this all sounds so great, Hope, but how? A few things. A very simple, feet on the ground. It's good to do some tapping. Like, I mean, if you can be outside doing this barefoot, which I'm not barefoot just because I'm at a public park and it might rain and I thought I was going to have to like take all my stuff and run. But firmly plant your feet in the ground. Even if you're inside, do the same thing. Firmly plant your feet in the ground. And if you're not outside, imagine you're in a scenic nature spot where the birds are singing and there's trees, and yeah, there might be city noises because I'm in the city. The noise is literally the thing that reminds me every day I'm in the city. I'm still growing roots into the earth, even in the city. City in the forest. Okay, so I imagine I'm grounding myself. I'm planting roots into the ground. Really breathing into that. Really just imagining like my favorite tree. Like, I really like this one behind me. And the roots that it has to have and how deep they really are. If you've ever seen an uprooted tree and you're just like, whoa, look at the magnitude, massiveness of those roots. That's what I'm imagining growing into the earth. And then I just breathe it in, breathe out what I'm ready to release, and say thank you. All right, and then I put my hands, one on my stomach, one on my back. You know that spot on your back when you're out with somebody and you're like feeling maybe a little overwhelmed by the amount of people and they just slightly put their hand on your back? And I mean, I'm not saying to do this all day, but I'm saying to do this for a very significant amount of time because, ooh, it feels so supportive. It is really, really lovely thing to bring you back to your body. Obviously, there's tapping. There's all the tappings you can do. Another really fun way to come back to your body is a dance party. I mean, honestly, I'm all about it. Always a dance party. Sometimes coming back to your body, like if you don't have any space to do any of that, just literally acknowledge to yourself, oh, I think I'm disassociated. Let me come back. Another really quick, easy way to bring yourself back to your body, if you're not able to do all the like fun somatics and ground yourself, you notice 5 things around you. Like, there's so many things around me to notice. See if there's any smells around you. Listen to any sounds around you. And if you really like have the capacity, have a little sneaky snack. It's a really great way to come back, especially if you're just like, Should with your food more often, by the way. I think we should just all start making more like satisfaction noises. It's a 10 out of 10 idea. Just imagine a restaurant full of people just being like, enjoyable experience as often as possible. And, you know, joyous survival and allowing it a survival, and tasting your food is pleasure, and it's like one of the simplest ways just to just indulge in the yumminess of life. We're gonna leave it as this. Today was a very by inspiration YouTube video. Didn't have a script before. I didn't jot notes down. I just basically came here and worded all over the place. And we'll have to probably heavily edit because squirrel moments happened. But I just want you to understand that me allowing the moments of inspiration can only happen because I have done so much work on my mind and my thoughts, and I love myself enough to trust myself and have confidence in myself to just come and bebop on camera and trust that something of impact will come out. And that's what I want for y'all. That's all I got. Cut. Perfect timing because someone's coming.